Hey, Kool-aid Krew, what's crack-a-lackin'? Hey, somebody give me a 5 for 5 in there, and we will get started on this thing, if you know what I mean. Okay, um, first off, Genius by Birth, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I seen your super thanks, too. Thank you for the $20 super thanks. You're awesome. So I really do truly appreciate that. But, guys, we still got some stuff to go over here, guys. This is, more stuff happening over and over and over again. So, yeah. Well, thank you, Mark, for sharing that out. Hey, Trish, good to see everybody in there. Hey, Ron. Genius is in there, obviously. Lisa, Angela, Ax, my brother, what's happening? What's crack-a-lackin'? What is crack-a-lackin'? Oh, yeah. Hey, IG, hope you're doing okay right now. Hang in there, girl. You got this, all right? TNAZ, what's up? I think I seen Ron in here too. What's up, Ron, if you're in here? Hey, miss, same to you, okay? Love both you guys. Love everybody here. All right, so, guys, yeah, we've got, just like I talked about earlier, guys, this radiation storm happened. So, remember my last stream, I actually started talking about it 2 streams ago because I seen the baseline slowly going up. We usually don't see it do it like this, though. Okay? Usually when we get a proton flux increase, it's pretty, when it hits, it's pretty instantaneous. This is one of those things, it's just kind of a long, drawn-out process of just continued CMEs getting blowed off the sun, and our interplanetary magnetic field line is catching a lot of the protons. So that's happening. Plus, we're getting hit right now with that first CME as we speak here, okay? That's why you see a 4 and a plus right here. We're probably at G1 level right now. Well, according to this, we're not. But if we look at that's a 3-hour average. If we come over here to the HP, and this is the German Space Agency over here, my guess is we hit a 5 or close to it. Well, we're close. Now, again, it's not that big of a deal. A G1 is just simply not that big of a deal. Okay? We're going to see increased Aurora and all the stuff that we always talk about. Increased seismic activity. All those types of things. Hey, Planet Hermit, good to see you. See here, Tank, RC, Lisa, Mark Lewis. Guys, I need to get out of the chat here. I'm sorry. I gotta concentrate on this. Mods, love you. Thank you for holding it down in there for me. If I need to say the chat rules, somebody just tag my name there and I'll say the chat rules if you guys start having issues. But guys, simply be an adult. That's all you gotta do. No vulgarity. Can't attack anybody in the chat. You can't attack, especially can't attack any other channel. I don't care if you think I hate them or not. I don't hate anybody, by the way. But I don't care if you think I don't like them or not. Please do not do that. They're not here to defend themselves, and all it does is draw drama. And everybody's entitled to their opinion. So, they're doing their channel, they're doing their thing. You know what I mean? So, they're more than welcome to do all that, right? I ain't got no control over that, and I wouldn't want it. So, yeah. But vulgarity and stuff like that is absolutely not tolerated, and no spamming. You can't spam in the chat, guys. That's just saying the same sentence over and over and over and over and over again. Can't do that. Especially dropping links. Well, my mods are the only ones that can drop links, but like putting names of other channels in there. Please don't. I don't care if you guys share a channel once in a while, but please don't do that on a consistent basis because it's. First off, it's rude if you don't ask. I ask every time when I'm on somebody else's chat. People are here to see this. I'm not going to try to push them off onto somebody else's channel while I'm doing my thing. You know what I mean? That's just counterintuitive in my opinion. Anyway, done with that crap. You guys, mods got it in the chat. Love y'all. All right, here we go. So we got this big, massive eruption that happened. Back on the 24th, okay? That one there, okay? This is the one that happened on the 24th. This is the one that's hitting us now, okay? Now, the one that happened today, very similar, isn't it? because it came from the exact same sunspot. But you would notice here that this one here seemed to be a little bit more powerful, and it seemed to spread out more. And the reason why is we've had 2 days of rotation on the sun. So instead of, and I've got this ran all the way back to the 24, so we can see that first X flare right here. Okay, watch where this X flare is right here, right there. Okay, that's the first one. A couple days ago, that's the one that's hit. The CME with that one is hitting us now. Now watch how far it moves in a couple days. I'm gonna leave my cursor there so you guys can see this. Okay, right about there. Okay, so if you look at the center point, it's actually even more north up here. It's from the same sunspot grouping. It might not be from the exact same core, but instead of being over here, it's over here now, which makes it more facing Earth. So anything that happens there, it's going to have a better chance of hitting us. So, and this is the one that happened just a few hours ago. Well, more than a few hours now. But guys, I know most people are going to concentrate on this right now. I'm telling you, this one up here is going to be one we're going to have to watch. This one here still may do its thing, right? But check this one out up here. Nobody's even I haven't heard anybody talk about this one yet. It hasn't crested over all the way, but we can see it. So, you know, when after that X flare on the 26th right there happened, shortly thereafter, this was unstable enough. It blew, right? Now, we don't know how big that one was. We don't have any data because it's on the backside, all right? We do have some satellites back there. They probably do have some data, but we can't, you know, we don't really have access to that very easily. But as you can tell, it's still rotating in. It's still active. And I would say that this one here is actually more active than this one. I really would say that. So, yeah. It just is what it is. Okay, so. Get back up in here, back up in here. Sorry about that, guys. My chat froze. I don't know why it did. I must have did something there. Yeah, my chat froze like 10 minutes ago. Exactly, Axe. So, well said. I'm going to have to, yeah, I'm going to find that one and put that one up there so everybody can see that one. Well said. Well said. Chat rules. Axe has got it covered. Let me show you. Let's see, right there. Y'all read that. I love it. I love it. I love it. But yeah, that simple, guys. That simple. So, just keep it super chill. It's all we need. Just be adults. All right. So, now, what are we looking at, and why is everybody, you know, all doing all this and all this? Well, these are X flares, guys. Okay, so let me take you down here to the deabsorption region, the D region absorption model right here. Now, remember, this is the one we look at for flares, right? So when we get a flare, anything on the day side is affected. The radio frequency is affected. Okay. Like ham radio operators and stuff like that. Radio propagation really gets really poor during a flare. Now, I can't run it back any further, so we're not going to be able to see this X flare, but it actually happened here, right? I think it was more so here. But we see a bullseye signature. But after that, remember I mentioned this in my last live stream, we seen these protons just rush in on our pole region. So watch what happens here. Okay, and that's where we're at currently. Now the other thing you can look at on this graph, watch over here. This is the megahertz. Okay, you're going to see it grow. Watch. See that? So those are all indicators on this model that, hey, you know, radiation storm. And yes, we have an S2 radiation storm right now. Okay? So, with that being said, um, what does that mean, right? I know I get a lot of questions on that too. I got the scales pulled up, and I'll read a couple of these to you, okay? I don't like reading these because these are just so stinking boring just to read to you. You know what I mean? That's why I don't like showing models that aren't actually moving and things like that. Because people do get bored. I mean, let's face it, we want to learn, but at the same time, we want to be entertained at some level, right? Oh, hey, TNAZ, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Keeping it real, baby, keeping it real. And I have to say thanks to all the new people, too. And thanks to all the people that are here from the beginning, middle, whenever you jumped on board the Kool-Aid train. You're part of the Kool-Aid Krew, okay? And let me tell you, it is so appreciated. And we have a lot of fun in our members-only streams. We don't concentrate on the negativity over there. We don't concentrate. The main focus isn't space weather on the members only stream. We will talk about it if it needs talked about, but the main focus is having fun with each other. And I show like reaction videos to really crazy chiropractic moves and stuff like that. We watch some Zoom court about a person that had his dangly bits cut off and stored them next to the eggs in the refrigerator, and then he split up with his partner, and his partner threw him away, and he tried to take the guy to court and get $6,500 for him. And don't shoot me here, but the video itself was named D's Nuts. Okay? And do you know why it said D's? That's not like just a slang term for the street. That person actually changed his middle name to D's. To D. Okay? So when they said D's Nuts, they were literally saying these are D's Nuts. You know what I mean? But yeah, so we're going to skip past that now. But that's the kind of fun we have over there. We don't get vulgar or anything like that. That's as off the rail we get right there. But it is, it ain't something that, we don't go over there and start dropping F-bombs and all that kind of stuff. We don't concentrate on all vulgar stuff or anything like that. We're just adults over there having fun. And that's what it is. And it is, go watch if you do become a member, please go watch the previous one. The last members only stream. You will not be disappointed because the chiropractic move that guy did, oh my gosh, hit him with a hammer and a spike. This dude about jumped off the table. Okay, enough of that. Sorry, I'm squirreling a little bit tonight. But yeah, so this is the NASA model. Okay, this is the CME that just happened on the 26th. This is Earth, right? This thing is taking a very similar path to the one that's hitting us now. It doesn't look like this thing is going to hit us right on the button. But I do think this is going to hit us a little more square than the one we're getting hit with now. This is a top-down version of our inner solar system. This is a side cut. This is our orbital line stretched out in a straight line. Now this model and this model are the same model. They just take different data. Well, they use the same data, but the model will hold one data point more serious than the other. So it changes the forecast between the two models. It's like a hurricane model. They never agree 100% with each other. But when they start agreeing, then what happens? Right? Yeah, it could be, Carl. Thank you for the $10 super chat there, brother. Appreciate that. I'm sorry you're hurting, though, man. That's no fun, man. No fun at all. Sorry you're hurting like that. That sucks. Yeah. I live in pain myself, brother. I got bad neck and back and stuff. I'm fused 6 in my neck and 2 in my lower back and all that. So when weather changes and we get stuff like this happen in space weather, I do feel it. You won't hear me complain about it too much, or I don't like to mention it when I'm hurting. You know what I mean? Not that I haven't, because I will. I mean, I ask for prayers all the time. I just don't want everybody focusing on me on that end of it when I'm supposed to be talking about space weather, right? And that's for me. Now, you saying that, I want you guys to do that, because then we can get some prayers and good thoughts sent to your way. Okay? So anybody that's hurting like that, if they got questions whether or not space weather can affect us biologically in that manner, ask those questions. Say, hey, I'm hurting today. Can I get some prayers, good thoughts, whatever we do? You know, currently we got a couple people in our Kool-Aid Krew that are fighting the Big C. That sucks. There's no other way to say it, people. That sucks. I hate it, and it sucks. What can we do? Exactly what I just said. We don't go down the negative path. You're going to come here, you're going to get positivity. That's what I want here. And we're going to help people through prayer and good thoughts. Whatever you do, whatever your thing is. Right? So please tell me if that's going on in your life. I want to hear it. So just know that. That's one of my goals on my channel, is to really put a focus on positive stuff. You're not going to hear me talk about a whole bunch of gloom and doom unintentionally, right? Because there are things about space weather that are pretty bad. I mean, let's just face it. We get the big one from the sun. Guess what? We are dark ages for a long time. Okay, so is that going to happen in my lifetime? I don't know. I don't focus on that part of it. I focus on learning what I can do if something like that was to happen. I try to understand what I'm showing you guys now, so you guys don't get the shock scare. The shocks, if you're in a state of shock scare, you will make bad decisions almost every time. So don't be the person standing in the middle of the street in the dark, wondering why the lights aren't coming on. Be that person that knows why that happened, even though nobody could tell you. You see what I'm saying here, guys? So that's my goal. Now, is this grid down? Absolutely not. Okay? This is not that situation. Is this big space weather news? Absolutely. This could cause regional issues. This could cause a whole lot of things. In 2003, during Halloween, we had the 2003 Halloween storm, and that thing was big. We had issues. Okay, a lot of people know about that solar storm. I'm not going to go into detail on that, but you know, right around September and October, see, Aurora love equinoxes. Okay, so the spring and fall equinox, around those time of year, we see more aurora. Why? You guys ever ask yourself that? It's because we're in a different tilted position. Our magnetic field is in such a position because of our actual Earth is tilted and pointed in a different direction, right? The barber pole itself. So when we're at that time of year, we tend to get and be in a position to get hit with more CMEs. That's why we see increased aurora, and there's other reasons too, but that's one of them. So now our magnetic field, magnetic north and magnetic south, are not geographic north and geographic south. So if I was to show you that, where can I show you that? I guess I could use this. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. I need to show you this anyway. Okay, this is Earth. That's how big Earth is. These are the sunspots right now. Okay, so you guys get an idea to scale what's going on here. But geographic north, and I guess probably the best way to show you would be to use the Aurora map here. Okay, so geographic North Pole north is going to be right there. Okay, there's a reason why we have an Aurora oval. The magnetic field, magnetic north, is not right there. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about a magnetic flip and all those kinds of things, and yes, that is in the cycle right now. That's absolutely happening. Is it going to happen in my lifetime? I don't know. I'm not going to have a position on that because I simply just don't know. I can take a guess, but I'm not even going to do that because it'll just confuse people. So, But yes, we are in the process. It's a natural process, by the way. It's a cycle. We do this just like the sun does every 11 years. When the sun cycle, when the poles flip on the sun, that's your sun cycle. That's 11-year sun cycle, guys. So magnetic north and south flip on the sun roughly about every 11 years. So the polarity on the sunspots will change, northern and southern hemisphere, and I've explained that too. But you know, this is the barber pole here, right? This is where Santa Claus lives. Rudolph's up here lighting the way for everybody, right? But magnetic north is, I believe, it's kind of going, it's over here somewhere now. But it's still moving because it was over here in Canada. Now, it's not going to line up right over top of magnetic north, okay? It's an oval, first off. It's not a circle, right? But there's a reason that it's skewed one direction or the other. You guys notice this is the day side, right? You see this is the day side of the planet? So all of the charged particles from the sun are moving from the sun to Earth this direction. So what's it do? It pushes those particles that direction. Okay? So the oval gets stretched out this direction for that reason. So when they hit our planet, hit our magnetic field, if our magnetic fields are in the right position, if our orientation is -6 or more, more and more negative, usually we're really lined up for this stuff just to flow in, right? And it comes in on the poles first. And I just showed you a really good data evidence of that right here. Look at this stuff. It comes in on the poles. That's the pole area. You see anything here? Nope. But in a bigger radiation storms, it will filter down here, okay, and up. I've never really seen it get down to here or anything like that. But, you know, now if you fly a lot, and if you fly high latitude, which means closer to the poles, high altitude, which means higher, closer to space, right? They're going to warn you about this, especially if you're pregnant. They don't want you to fly in those conditions. It's just like taking an x-ray, guys. It really is. How do we measure flares? X-ray, right here. That's how we measure our flares. It's X-ray production. It's a flash burst of X-ray, and that's why anytime anything happens on the Earth-facing side of the sun, that's why when it hits us every time, it doesn't matter where it's at. And I'm talking about the flare only, because light, when it goes out like that, it goes out in all directions equally, unless it's being acted upon by another force. And that does happen from time to time, but essentially for what we talk about, yes, it's going out in all directions equally. So if we have a sunspot right here, and it produces enough X-ray for X-flare, it's no different than one that happened right here. What can be different is the CME, if there is one with it. That's why it matters. Okay? As far as the X-ray goes, it doesn't matter if it flares here, 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 or here. Okay? We're getting all those X-rays if we can see it on the front side of the sun. Now, you'll oftentimes hear me talk about, like this one's a good example of this. This is behind the limb. The base and the core of this sunspot right here is actually on the back side of the sun. But we can see this, right? It's flaring right now. So, if we can see it, this is actually hitting us with some X-ray right now. That's what's happening. Even though this is still technically on the backside. If we can see it on this model, it's hitting Earth with X-rays. So I hope you guys get that. Hey, Shastina, good to see you. Yeah, CME. Yeah, it could be two. It's going to be about 2 days before it gets here. Typically, it's 3 to 5, but these are bigger ones and they're moving faster. So yeah. So give me a roll call in there, guys, if you would. Just regional. I'd like to know where you guys are from. But yeah, so this is NASA's version of the CME tracker. It's tracking. Now, you guys heard me say interplanetary magnetic field line? That's what this is, this dashed line. Earth is right here. Everything is connected to the sun, and I'm going to say it again. If you were naked out in space, your left butt cheek would be attached to the sun magnetically. Okay, that's how things work. We have a magnetosphere. The Earth does. Oops, I just clicked off of it. Gotta love that. Okay, here, hold on one second. We have a magnetosphere. What's a magnetosphere? This magnetosphere is created by space weather interacting and hitting our magnetic field. So when it hits, it's coming from the sun almost every time, right? So it's moving from left to right on these models, okay? Yes, you have a top-down view and you have a side cut. That's what you're looking at here, okay? They look very similar because this is two-dimensional, but it's trying to show you something that's three-dimensional. You should look at the Earth's magnetic field as a slinky that is pulled around a ball. That's really what our magnetic field is. It's not some flat whatever we're looking at like this. Okay? So keep that in mind, because the slinky even represents magnetic lines, connection lines, coming in on the poles, right? So when we get breaks in those magnetic lines, that's when stuff comes in, like we'll get a crack in our magnetic field, and we'll see aurora in like a really weird spot on our planet. That happens often. And it happens during bigger storms. So, typically. Now, we are seeing aurora with lower level storms now that we didn't used to. I will say that. I've looked at some of the historic data and stuff on that, and it does seem to me, just from what I've seen, there is a little bit of a change that needs to be made in some of these models. And the model that I'm talking about is, let me go down here and grab it for you. Okay. If you guys go over to NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center and scroll down to any of their pages, you're going to find this down here. Let me show you. All my models and stuff I show you, the dashboards are right here. It's such a great resource. Don't be afraid to click on this stuff. If you don't understand something, email me. Ask in the chat. A lot of times people are going to be able to help you in the chat. But yeah. So, I do think they need to change this a little bit. I think we're seeing more intense aurora with lower level storms now than what we used to. Now, it's not a great difference here, okay? I just think they need to tweak it a little bit. Maybe change the KP number here to like 4.7 or 4.8 or something like that. And then, you know, obviously, if you go up, same kind of thing. 6.7, 6.8. 8.7, 8.8, right? Instead of 9, 7, and 5. I do think that that's about how much it's changed. Because we are seeing... Now, I will also say there's something to be said about technology here, too. We've got instantaneous communications now, right, with our phones. So when somebody sees aurora, it's much easier for them to whip their phone out, take a picture, and send it to somebody right away. That wasn't the case 10 years ago. So during last sun cycle, Solar Max, last sun cycle, Solar Max, right? Now we have all this technology so accessible to us. I do think that that is part of the reason that we're getting reports of aurora in places we didn't used to. Okay, but I also think that we are seeing aurora in places that we didn't used to, given the size of the storm. I think both things are happening there. Plus, you also have to figure this too, guys. The population of our planet just continues to grow. What does that do for aurora, right? You're probably thinking, Wages, what are you talking about? The population, what's that going to do to aurora? Well, what it does is, the more people on the planet, the more light you have. the more the big cities grow, it adds light pollution. So we can't see the aurora as easy. So you have to get away from them lights. Okay? And again, I think all that stuff I just said, it kind of offsets each other to where we're kind of in the same place anyway. But I do think we are seeing a bit more aurora than we used to for lower level storms. It's not like a drastic thing, but yeah. Now, if we get a G5 storm, I just don't think it's all that unusual to see aurora down towards the equator, right? That's the biggest kind of storms we get. We know that that's been seen down there before. Matter of fact, we get reports in Florida, Texas. I've got aurora photography you guys have sent me from those places during G4 and G5 storms. So I know that that's happening. But is that unusual? You know, I don't know. I don't know where I fall on that. I think it might be, I just think it needs tweaked. That's what I'll say. Now, this is tomorrow night's aurora forecast, guys. Look at this. Why is it showing this? Let me show you. Right before I went live, I looked at the NOAA forecast here. Check it out. Right now, they're just saying G1. Okay, why are they just saying G1 on the 28th here? Okay, why are they saying that? And when I say tomorrow night, I should have specified here, guys. UTC time right now, it is actually the 27th. There's a 4-hour time difference between UTC and Eastern Standard Time. Okay, just so you know. Now, you're right, Axe. 100% right. That's a good comment. Hey, YSGN, good to see you. Man, I missed the stinking roll call. Guys, give me another one, would you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Give me another roll call in there if you would. I'll stop here in a second. One of my mods, if I don't stop, please tag me a bunch of times and I'll see it. I try not to look at the chat because I don't want to get distracted. But anyway, G1, I think we're going to get a little more than that. That's just my opinion. I think we're going to get to probably a G2. And if the conditions really line up perfectly, we could see a G3. But I'm not so sure that that's going to happen. And that's also barring any other eruptions that happen. Okay, that could happen too. So, yeah. Now, I know NASA's saying that this is going to be a side blow. And I do know that NOAA is kind of agreeing here, guys. Because they did update this model. It's going to look real similar to the one I showed you earlier from the first CME. And I already explained why. Because it's essentially in the same spot. Look at that. So this model actually will give us 2 days historic data. And forecast out 5 days in advance. I do not, take too much stock 4 and 5 days out here. I'll go out 3 days and kind of trust this. But 5 days out, I don't. It's just too far. Sometimes they get close, sometimes they don't. It's a crapshoot, in my opinion. But it does give us a broad idea of what could happen. All right, where we at? Columbia, Mercuriana, good to see you. Hey, Jeff P., good to see you, bud. Sacramento, California. Or what's, who calls it California? I can't who was calling it that. I can't remember who was doing it in the chat. It was cracking me up. Northern California. Is that Heath A. Lee, 1888? Leslie, Eastern Oregon. Queensland. What's up, Josie Barker? Good to see ya. Hey, I'm going to say it right, Josie. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Not Aussie. Right? Am I saying it right? Ain't that what I was corrected? Hey, see here, think. There you go. See? That's what I like to hear. See here, think. Get in your car. Go drive out of the city and go see some aurora. I do that with my daughter. We've been trying to catch aurora for the past year. And we finally seen just a touch of it. And it was very underwhelming for what we seen. But we didn't get to see the intense stuff. And I wish I had have. We just didn't see it. Angel's Wing, member for 5 months. Love you back. Love you back. Thank you. Thank you for being a member for so long. That's a long time, guys. Anybody that's a member, please use that free super chat. You get a free super chat once a month. Hey, Jammer, good to see you, bud. Yeah, that's right, Jeff. You're cracking me up. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see where else we at. Reverend PC, great state of Texas. Good to see you. Jennifer, where you from? I know where you're from. I know where you're from. Where you from? Let's see if I can remember. Ah, man, I can't. I'm gonna have to look. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna look because I forget. I forget. Dennis, what's up? I can't find where your roll call is. I thought I seen it though. Okay. Anyway, Milk and Honey. There you go. You're from the land of Milk and Honey. Dallas, Texas. Proud Texas lady. Hey, I'm about to say something that's either going to make you guys hate me or love me. One or the other. I am a die-hard Dallas Cowboys fan. Have been since I was 4. I had pajamas, Dallas Cowboys. So, don't come at me with no B on that one. So, yeah, I just made about 50% of you hate me, and I made about 50% of you love me. It's kind of like taking a political position. You know what I mean? Happy birthday, Wise Jen. I'd sing it to you, but you know what? We really, seriously, I'm saying this, guys. We cannot sing that on live. That song is copyrighted. I'm not kidding. If I was to actually sing that, like live, I would get, yeah, YouTube would say, hey, you need to edit that out. I'm serious. It's crazy, but that's how it works. It's like, the big game that happens in football, right? You can't say that word either. That's right, Axe. I know where you're from. My favorite Canucks up there, baby. You and Kiss Freak. You, Nacho, and Kiss Freak, and a lot of others. But, yeah, you and Kiss Freak, that's Lord Kiss Freak. His name's Chris. He's a really good guy, guys. I've shown you guys some of the Aurora photography he sent me. He's got the backhoe in the picture there. But, yeah. Awesome. Hey, Jim Miller, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for using that. I really do. I encourage you guys to do that. Use that. I mean, seriously. Oh, you gifted 5. I thought that was the super. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Awesome. Anybody who ever gets those free gifted memberships, please tell them thanks. I know you guys are really good about that, but yeah. I just want to make sure that gets said and done. That's just, yeah. We have such a great time, and we have such a great family here, guys. We really do. And I know I say that a lot, but it's something I didn't expect when I got on doing the YouTube thing. And I've seen some very nasty stuff too. A lot of vitriol and some stuff. And I mean, but like I've said 1,000 times, I could get 50,000 negative comments and I can get one good one that wipes all those away. So just know that that's what I look for. And yeah. So anyway, okay. So this is the 131 angstrom, guys. There's that first X flare. And see how long duration that was? And I'm going to grab this thing and just pull it forward here. You guys see how much more powerful that one was? I just think that the CME involved with this one was just bigger. Had a lot more going on here. Okay? But it's roughly the same size. It looked almost identical on almost all the models. It's amazing how that happens sometimes. But this is the geoelectric field at the surface. They use this to help forecast earthquakes. Earthquake activity goes up every time we have space weather. They're trying to show you space weather's effect on unnatural electrical components. That's what this model is showing you. So when this thing starts moving around like that, it's a very good indication we're getting hit with space weather. Okay? You can see how it's getting kind of intense. And notice, guys, almost every model I show you, you will see it filter in from the North and the South Pole. It's not, typically you're not going to see something just like right away, bam, right there, you know. What we got going on here? Hey, Mercuriana, what you got there? Thanks, Wages, for creating this space. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for listening to some redneck hillbilly try to talk about space weather. I mean, genius by birth, look at you, 10 gifted memberships. You're awesome, girl. This is our happy place. I love that, Aaron. You're awesome, brother. 7 months, baby. Heck yeah. Wait till you guys get to that year. You got, I can't remember what color of Kool-Aid badge you'll have. But, yeah. Thank you. Thank you guys for doing all that. You guys are awesome. You really, truly are. I just can't say it enough. Okay, so, again, this is the Australian magnetopause model. It is the same one as, where'd that go? These, okay? But it's simpler. Now, I'm going to show you the magnetic pressure one here. We're going to run this, and I show you this one because everybody understands pressure, right? So when we get hit from the sun, all these magnetic field lines, remember the slinky? Right? If you picture a slinky just sitting around the earth right here, we get hit with something from the sun, it starts to compress all those field lines. It starts to squeeze that slinky, right? See how it's getting compressed in there? You're seeing the pressure grow? And then we start bouncing around because we're fighting back. And eventually we win that battle for a short amount of time, and we get what's called rapid expansion. Now those field lines just explode out. They grow. And this is called the standoff position. This is our bow shock. And where this bow shock usually sits is called the standoff position. So when it's further out, obviously the standoff position is greater. But that's what they call that. See how we kind of expanded right there? And see how it's kind of sticking out a little further now? That's what happens. We get hit, and then we push back. Compression, rapid expansion. And it's real easy to see it on these models. This is the density and density only. Notice you don't see a bow shock. Why don't we see a bow shock here? I fight this all the time. People think that the bow shock went down. It does not. The only way that the bow shock could ever go down, one of two things would have to happen. Because you have to understand what creates our bow shock. What creates our bow shock is, it's the first point of contact between solar wind and Earth's magnetic field. So in order for there not to be a bow shock, what has to happen? One or both of those things would have to go away. And if any of that happens, all of us are having a really bad day, and we're not going to give a crap about a bow shock. Okay? I'm just saying. So when we look at this model, understand the model. And this is why I explain it to you guys. First off, this model only goes up to 4 in density. Right here. Right? So if it's above 4, it's going to they're still going to make it this same color blue. So if the density is the same on one side of the bow shock as it is on the other, you won't be able to see the bow shock. Because the density is the same. Because this is showing density. Down here, you will almost always see a bow shock unless the standoff position is off of the model. Okay? Sometimes the standoff position expands out enough that it's actually off of the model. So if you see it missing here, that's most likely what's happening. And just like this one, this is speed. If the solar wind, or the speed of the charged particles that's hitting our magnetic field here, is the same speed on one side of the bow shock as it is on the other, it's going to appear like the bow shock isn't there. But it is. So please don't let somebody tell you that without explaining to you, hey, Why do you think that the bow shock's down? And I always ask that because it just simply needs to be asked. And there's nothing wrong with having that, initial feeling because, hey, listen, when I first looked at this, I'm like, where's the bow shock at, man? What's going on? And then once I understood the model, I could, yeah. Any kind of question I had just kind of went away. Because it isn't crazy to look at this and not see a bow shock. Because I understand how the model works. So, anyway. This over here is spaceweather.com. Dr. Tony Phillips. Please come over here and check him out. An X-class double solar flare. Okay? That's what he's talking about here. It flared twice right there. Now, I know it looks like one. But also, if you see right here, that's what we call a canyon of fire. It's not an actual canyon of fire. It's just the plasma peeling back a little bit here on the sun, exposing some of the surface. Okay? Basically, it's kind of opened up the corona a little bit, causing a bit of a coronal hole. That's really what's going on there. And it closes back up rather quickly. It probably already is closed up. Matter of fact, we can look. Well, maybe I have to eat my words there. It's still there. Check it out. Yeah, that had to be pretty significant for it to open that up and for that to still be there like that. And that would make sense for an X-flare. So, yeah. But, yeah. You see how I did that? I made a mistake. I didn't try to run or hide or try to explain it away. I just said, hey, I was wrong. Look, it's still there. Why can't more people do that? I just don't understand. They have to be right, that's so irritating to me. Anyway, this is the same kind of model that I just showed you guys. Here. Oh, not there. Here, right? But this is just like, I guess you could say the high class model. I don't know if you want to use those words or not. But it's more visual, it's more detailed, right? But if I was given a choice to look at this one or look at this one, I'm looking at this one. And let me tell you why. All the data that you need for a basic understanding of what's going on is right here. It's done in a simple way. Everybody can understand this. And I'm going to explain it to you in under 5 minutes. Okay? This is our bow shock, right? Notice they're not trying to tell you on one side or the other. Okay? Where are we going to see the density on this model? Right here. They just put the number there for you. It's really that simple. Okay? The wind speed. Right here. Okay? The standoff distance. It'll tell you the distance, but we can see it. Right? Now, there are times you come over here and you can't see it. This bow shock. And that means that the standoff position is out here past 20. That's 20 right there on the edge of this model. That means it's out here somewhere. That's the only time you won't see a bow shock on this model. Okay? So that right there should tell you that, hey, the bow shock ain't going away. But anyway, it also lets you see the BZ right here. That's that polarity number that we look for in order to understand if we're going to be dragging this stuff in or are we going to be pushing it away. Right? So for -6 or more, that means that we're trying to pull it in. We're coupling with the magnetic fields inside the CME itself. Okay? Now, solar wind has its own polarity too. So the same thing is true with that. That's why the BZ is so important. But you can see, you get all the data right here, guys. And it's very, very simple to look at. You can clearly see when the bow shock is actually inside the satellite line. This is the satellite line where a lot of our satellites are. That's important to know. Because if this bow shock is inside here, that means that the satellites on this side of it are being directly exposed to any space weather. CMEs, coronal hole streams. It's out there getting blasted without any protection from our magnetic field. That's one of the reasons why they keep these satellites closer to Earth. They want it to have some of that protection. Now, there's satellites out there that they've built that are still there and have been there for years, such as SOHO. Okay? It's 1,000,000 miles closer to the sun than what we are. Here's Earth. Here's SOHO. It's out past our magnetic field. But it's there and it's able to see things. We've seen so many sun-diving comets. And that's the other thing, too. I'm glad I said that. We're supposed to be able to start to see the pieces of Comet Atlas today. Starting to see it on this model. I see some stuff yesterday kind of flying through the screen here. It probably was pieces of it, a little bit of it. But I'm not seeing anything definitive to tell me, hey, that's part of that comet. Right? But, you know, we'll see. We'll see if we can't catch some of it. They said there was going to be a good chance. But I do, and that's the other thing I want to point out here too. A lot of times when we get radiation storms, and like I said, guys, we are at an S2. Well, we're down in an S1, almost S2 range. When that happens like that, a lot of times you will see the whiteout over here. The last time we had those big X flares, when we got the G4 storm and went G5 just for a minute, last month, or no, it was earlier this month, right at the beginning of the month. Remember how this screen looked like an old TV that was off air? That's why. Those were those protons just blasting this satellite. And right now we're in a radiation storm, but this satellite is not really getting any of that snow signature. So that does kind of throw me for a loop a little bit. I'm not quite understanding why that is. Other than these particles are probably inside the CME. Okay? The protons that we're seeing that were enough to cause this was probably part of that CME. And I want to show you something here too, because the wake of a CME can be just as powerful as a side hit. Okay? Where did that go? Where'd it go, Mark? Come on, Wages. What are you doing to us here? Okay, here. You see how this is like blowing, right? Now, the wake of it wouldn't even be the side of the CME right here, okay? The wake of it is just like on a boat going through water. That CME is going through space. It's punching through the vacuum of space, and it's got charged particles with it, right? So it creates a wake. So kind of on the back end of it, you're going to see when we pass through a wake of a CME, now granted, where'd it go? I know I had the Discover data up here. Here it is. If this BZ is at -6 or more, and we pass through a wake, and those magnetic fields are in the right polarity, we will couple with that, and I've seen this go G3 storm almost immediately from the wake of a CME. Not the actual brunt of the CME. So that helps people understand that a lot of this, almost all of it, is magnetically driven. Okay? The initial blast off the sun is not. Okay? That's a blast, right? And gravity's involved. Okay? All those things are involved. But the magnetics is what's steering things. The magnetics is what's going to allow it to draw into our system. Okay? Now, if you get a big enough, hard enough blast, yes, it can overcome a magnet. Right? It can overcome some of the magnetism, and it can still get here and get inside our system. And the best way for me to explain that to you is grab two like little round magnets off your refrigerator, right? Put them on the table, put the positive and the positive on one, and put the positive on the other, and try to get those magnets to touch. Okay? you're going to get about an inch away from each other, and you're going to start feeling resistance. And then you're going to say, well, let me push a little harder. And you most definitely can get those magnets to touch, right? So there are forces that can overcome the magnetism. That's what I'm trying to explain there. So go get two bigger magnets, such as a horseshoe magnet, and try to do the same thing. It's going to be much harder. So when I'm saying -6, that's the small refrigerator magnets, right? When I'm saying positive anything on the BZ, we're talking the big U magnets. It's going to deflect everything for us. Okay? Hey, Harley, good to see you, bud. Hey, Nacho, good to see you. Is that your significant other in here, Axe? On their own account? How did she get something like that, man? Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm assuming that's her, though. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. All right. So, there we have it. Now, cul-de-sac, thank you, bud. Appreciate you. Another bigger one today. 3 lives in one day. Oh, yeah, 3 live streams. I was thinking, when you said lives, I'm thinking, who passed? You had me scared there for a minute, man. Whoa. Cul-de-sac, I know I've asked you this before, but I don't want to get it wrong. Are you a male or a female? I just want to know. Hey, Ron, good to see you, bud. It's you. Yay. Are you nursing today? I hope you're all right. I have to say that, guys, if you guys want to laugh, please go up there and check out Axe and Nacho's channel. Great music. I love what they do with the disco and all the lights and stuff that they do when they're making their music and posting videos. I love Nacho when she's doing the shorts. It's hysterical. It really is. I laugh every time. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, that's the truth. So please get up there. Oh, you doing okay? Okay. I know you guys are struggling there because you're in Carolina, right? And I know you guys went through some hard times there, Ron. Probably still are. I know you got your... Does she? Has her own channel for chats? I didn't know that. Cool. Cool. Your girl calls that? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that. I think you've told me that once before. But I hope you guys understand. When I'm talking to you guys, yes, I'm very personal with you. And I do recognize the account names. It's just sometimes I have a hard time remembering if it's a guy or a girl. That's just, you get so many people. And it does get like that. But I try my best. So if I misgender you, I do apologize. It's not intentional. And you can always correct me. I will not get mad. Okay? I'm serious about that. Oh, yeah. A third live today. Yeah. For sure. But, guys, I think Axe and Nacho are going to, or at least Axe is going to, and Nacho's welcome too, join me in the next members only stream. Okay? We're going to try to work that out. That way we can, guys, I think you guys just, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it one more time. The first time you get exposed to Axe and Nacho, you're going to hit that subscribe button. Ain't nobody going to have to tell you that. You're just going to do it. Because that's what it is. It's fun. And there's not enough positive stuff out there, and that's it. I've never seen anything negative on their channel, and I don't think they ever intend to post anything negative. It's just that way. They're a key part of our community here, guys. They really are. They've been around for a long time. Okay? But, well, as long as I have, almost. So, just so you know, we're all part of the same thing, And I like it that way. Hey, Idaho Mike prepping. Yeah, we've had a lot of stuff going on today. I just didn't want to miss it, guys, I want you guys to get the information. And I've been trying to be patient, and I think I've done a pretty decent job waiting till, like, the CMEs and stuff were already happening, and I gave them enough time to at least have some data to share with you. When we get CMEs and stuff, guys, it's not necessary to run right out and say, ho, 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 look at this, look at this. We got time, guys. Okay? If there's ever a time where we're not going to have time to do that, I'm not going to have time to fire up a live stream. You guys know that, right? And that's what I'm trying to say. By the time I can report a flare gets here. When it leaves the sun, it's here in 8 minutes. The X-ray is. It's moving at the speed of light. The sun's 93 million miles away, so that's roughly 8 minutes. Now, when you start talking about protons, and you start talking about charged particles, those things have mass. They're not light. So they have to travel, and it takes them a minute. October 26, 2024. Eruption. Oh, okay. Wow. Volcanic eruption, huh? Is there anywhere I could fire this up and let people see that? Deep quake? I think Ron's in here too. Hey, thanks, Jammer, for dropping Axe thing there. Okay, Axe. Don't be yeah. Don't be promising them anything like that, because that ain't gonna happen. Promise you that. We can go look at USGS. There might be something there, I guess. Oh, wow. That's interesting, too. I haven't seen this. Ron's probably reporting on this. Look. That's a 5-1 up in China. We do miss a lot of earthquakes over here because of obvious reasons. They're not going to share it, just so you know. So our system actually has to actually pick that up for us to be able to report it. They're not going to report anything extremely bad over here to the world. We know this, right? For obvious reasons. I don't have to go out here and talk about it or say it. You guys understand. But I would also say this is a decent one here too. But understand that these are on plate lines, fault lines, okay? So if we're going to see it somewhere, most likely that's going to be one of the first places we see it, is on these lines. And it can be very good indications of stuff coming. We always hope that they are just aftershocks and not foreshocks to something bigger. That's always a consideration. Ron will probably tell you, and so will Deep Quake tell you the same thing. I'm not the earthquake guy. I don't pretend to be. But I do understand. You know, I understand when people talk about it, but I can't teach it, so I don't try. And that's, I just think that's a responsible thing to do. Plus, we have great people out there that do it. Ron, Deep Quake, and a lot of other people. I tell everybody, watch everybody. That's what I say, guys. You guys know that. And then, you know, whatever sounds right to you, go with that. And that's how I've always done my life. You know, I ain't saying you just believe somebody blindly. I'm just saying, hey, if it sounds right to you, research it a little bit more, and maybe that's where you fall. I don't know. It's been my experience that the truth usually falls where everybody's opinion overlaps. So if you got 6 or 7 circles right here, wherever those circles overlap, that's where you're going to find the truth. That's just my opinion. Also, guys, I use Occam's razor every day. Whatever's the most simplest explanation for something is usually what it is. Not always, I have to say. Okay, not always. But for the most part, Occam's razor is right on it, man. It just is what it is. Yeah, Ron, I mean, guys, right here, this is the Cascadia subduction zone. Part of it anyway. Let me zoom out. When this actually finally goes, guys, you will literally have lakefront property in Arizona. Okay? This is catastrophic when this thing lets go. There is nobody that denies that. It's just a fact of life. And it is a matter of when. It's not a matter of if. It will happen eventually. Now, also, guys, we have, like stuff like Mount Rainier, big volcanoes, super volcanoes. I've seen some studies here as of late, like Yellowstone. Like, I've seen conflicting ideas on that, whether or not that could actually still blow as big as it used to. The big caldera that's there. Or is it something that is just not going to do that again? At least not for any kind of foreseeable future, right? Does it have enough built up pressure? Does it have all that stuff? And because of all the geysers and stuff out here, it does release pressure all the time. But, again, I'm not the earthquake guy. It's just stuff that I read and hear myself. And now, when we have big earthquake events, I will report it to you guys. Okay? That's just what I do. But, yeah. Paul. Are you okay, Paul? I seen Ron saying give you hugs, man. That's right. When Mama calls, you got to go. But yeah. Hey, Lady L, good to see you. What's under New York? That'd probably be a question for Ron. Ron, you might be able to answer that for him. I can't. I don't know if there's any fault lines or anything running through New York. Now, I know we got the New Madrid running down through here. Because that runs through the Midwest, but that's not the East Coast. I don't know if there's any big fault lines there or not. Ron would know. It's not showing up here on USGS. So, yeah. 5 subs to go for what? We'll be looking here. What are we talking about, 5 subs? You got a channel now? Deep Quake? I know you yeah. I didn't know if you had one or not. Hey, Sister, what's up? Well, thank you. Thank you, Deep Quake. That's awesome, man. Thank you for the gift of memberships. Is that what you were talking about? Wonder how many guys. You know what? Well, I can't look right this second. Well, I guess I could. Give me 1 second here, guys. Well, maybe. I'm trying to. I was going to go look to see how many members we had, but I can't do that without showing the back office, and I'm not going to do that. There's too many numbers there. But yeah, I'll share with you guys how many members we got. I know I got a notification that we had over 400, and that's awesome. Because of that, guess what? They give me 10 memberships a month to give out to you guys for free. That's the way I understand it. Because I gave out 10 memberships the other day, if you guys remember. I gave 5 out one day, and then about 2 days later, I gave out 5 more. That's how I did that. That was a gift from YouTube to me. So they're just trying to, procreate everybody's, that kind of thing. Yes, Ron is awesome. Yep. 4 or 5 fault lines run through New York, specifically through New York City. Yeah. Well, that's just another good reason for me not to live there. Just saying. Just saying. I'm just kidding, by the way. Hey, Aaliyah. Good to see you. Guys, we got to start over. Aaliyah's here. Got to start all over. So today we had a big CME, and then we had another big CME, and I took a nap. Then we had another CME. I'm just kidding. Cindy Lou, good to see you. 304 high wages. What's crack-a-lackin'? That's right, baby. That is right. That's right. Everybody give Ollie a hey, hey. All right, guys. I am going to probably go ahead and end this. We've been going here for a minute. I don't want to like just string this on for whatever reasons. I really didn't expect this to last this long anyway, but you guys have me in here having a good time, so yeah. Good morning. But before we go, guys, I do want to do something here. I want to get some ones in the chat for our two special women in here that are fighting the big C right now. And if anybody else is fighting the big C and you don't want to share that, I'm all good with that. But these ones are for you also, okay? So let's get some ones in that chat for everybody that's fighting that kind of a thing. Hey, Silver Fox. But yeah, I do always want that kind of thing is priority to me, okay? The well-being of everybody and all that stuff comes way before me showing you a CME. So if I can help somebody or even just make their mood better, I'm going to do that first and foremost. And I hope you guys understand that. I've always been that way, and I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity or my morals or just my compassion just so I can get a couple extra views on a video. I'm not going to do that. Because I know that some people don't like to hear me talk about stuff like what I'm doing right now. And I get it. I'm not mad at people that click off. I'm not. I'm really not. But don't hold that against them or me. And that's just what I'll say. That to me, that should be our first and foremost priority, and that's to take care of one another. And the only way we can do that on the internet is to do stuff like ones in the chat and actually follow through with that, okay? Not just the ones in the chat, but when you get off of the stream, actually pray for somebody or send them good thoughts. Whatever you do, do it. We'll never know if you do or not. I'm just saying, please do, because that's the only way it works. So that's just what I'll say. And enough of that stuff right there. I know you guys. Hey, I got a super chat in here. What we got? Hey, Big Vic, $10. Thank you, Wages, for all that you do. Well, thank you for that super chat. And thank you for being here. It really does mean a lot to me, guys. I wish I could really show you guys how this is helping me and my family and what you guys have done. Yeah, I really wish I could. I wish I could say it in words, and I can't. It's not that I couldn't say something. It's not like that. Anything I say is just, it's not going to live up to what's the actual, how I feel about it. You know what I mean? There's just not words for it. And let me highlight Deep Quake's 5 gifted memberships there. And I also want to bring back this too. Genius by Birth left me a $20 super thanks. Now let me explain to you that, okay, guys? A super thanks is when you, after the video's down and everything else, you can do a super chat in the comment section, and they call that a super thanks. Now most people don't do that, and I'm okay with that. I don't, I don't have a position on that at all. But what I'm saying is, when somebody leaves a super thanks, they know when they do that the majority of the people on the channel are not even going to see it. That means a lot to me, because they did that knowing that not everybody was going to see them give a super chat to me. That's something special. It truly is. I mean, that really does show a person's heart. Now, I'll say this. The super chats and the gifted memberships and stuff, that shows your heart too, right? So it's all showing the heart. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, it really did shock me when I started seeing super thanks, because they know that not most everybody's going to see it. Now, I always mention it on the next stream, right? Always tell them thanks. But I just wanted to point that out. I like to draw that up because it just shows once again how special you guys are and how cool you guys are and how awesome you have treated me and everybody. And we're all one big community. We all go watch everybody. Well, Miss Dragon, let me tell you something. We might be keeping your spirits up, but you're doing the same for us. You truly are an inspiration. I'm not just saying that. Even before you told me you were fighting that, your channel was nothing but positivity. And I just got so much respect for people that do that, which is why I have a lot of respect for Axe and Nacho and all that stuff, right? But, and for the most part, anybody I associate with, that's how I feel about them. Because there are genres here that it's impossible to not go down the dark part of it, right? I mean, when you're reporting on news, let's face it, guys, news is bad. I mean, most of the time, right? So that's just an inherent part of it. It doesn't mean the person that's delivering that news is a bad person. Matter of fact, like Adam and Dex, I see them and I talk to them in the background a lot. I'm a moderator over there, and they were my friends way before any of that. But they intentionally try to put it across in a positive way. But they're going to put it across in the most positive but true way that they can. And unfortunately, with the stuff that's going on in our world, sometimes that just cannot be accomplished. You just have to say what it is. And that's just what it is. And they get raked over the coals all the time. And let me tell you something, I get protective. I really do. I know Ilea does too. I know Jammer's in here. Anybody a mod over there, Trinity, Ripper. I'm not sure who else, if anybody else is in here from over there. That's a moderator. But I get protective. I mean, they're my family. It's like I have to fight myself from going at people in the chat when they start doing what they do in the chat, right? But anyway, I just want to let you know. But I love all you guys. Exactly, Reverend. 100%. Alright, guys, I am going to get off here. But go visit this channel here, spaceweather.com. You most definitely will not be disappointed. This is a web page, so please go check it out. This is how Dr. Tony Phillips makes his money. Go give him some traffic. And one more time, guys. I know we got about 250 people in here right now. Let's get about 250 ones in that chat. Just prayers in general for everybody, because we all need it. Alright, guys. Hey, Bunny Hurt, good to see you. There you go. Fear sells, but you're not buying. Love that. God, I love that. Matter of fact, we're going to end on that one. I don't think you can say anything after that. That's going up on the screen, and I'm ending this. Alright, God bless. Yahusha saves. Fear sells, but I'm not buying. And you can drink this Kool-Aid